typical Montessori student is an engaged learner who cares as much about questions as they do about answers.
The students are so incredibly comfortable with one another. They're so incredibly comfortable with me as their advisor and as their teacher. They want to do things together.
They're very understanding and caring of one another, and they try to find a balance between all the different opportunities and obligations that they have.
As part of our mission at the Montessori High School, we really are focused on transforming their ideas and their ideals into action. We believe that adolescents have a unique ability to contribute, so really we're trying to encourage students to work from the local level and extend it to the global spectrum.
We look at not only the academics, but what helps the student to be a lifelong learner, how they grow with their personality, how they interact with the community at large. So we want the students to be out in the real world, as well as getting a solid academic background for any career that they might choose and any path they might take later in life.
I think it's clear that the students live in a world where they have to be literate in several different kinds of languages, whether that's the language of math or the language of art. And so I think that the fact that we have an integrated curriculum here helps serve students in developing those skills. You can walk into a science class and see students exploring physics through music and then through physical education projects. What better way to go ahead and make work and concepts real?
The small class sizes really allow us to do a lot of different things in the classroom. We have an actual student-to-teacher ratio of about 5 to 1. So we can have one-on-one tutoring or individualized help very easily. And then we have enough students where we can do things like seminar discussions.
The seminar is the place where the students are able to encounter a text that they've just read, but from perspectives of all of the people in the group.
Adolescents want to be heard, and so the seminar inspires students who might pick their words more carefully to get a chance to be drawn out by the conversation.
The environmental class really lends itself to the seminar approach because there's so many different readings that we can draw from it. And by the time the students are 11th and 12th graders, they really know how to take the ball and run with it in terms of leading their own discussion. And a lot of times students will come up with questions and take the seminar in a direction that I never really even anticipated.
Integrated learning at Montessori High School starts with an understanding of the interconnectedness of life.
It's actually cross-disciplinary here at Montessori High School, so it's really nice. And someone says, yeah, we were discussing this in Newton in my science class. Or, oh, well, there's some similar things here in logic that I was doing in my math seminar.
Through that conversation and through that focus on the interconnectedness, you start to see a conversation that coalesces and makes sense across the entire school.
Beginning in adolescence, community takes on such an important role in their lives. I really consider the boarding community to be a crucial part of our Montessori equation.
One of the things that Montessori wrote about was having students actually live on the campus. We have some students who are 5-day boarders, who go home on the weekends, and others here who stay 24/7. And that has tremendous advantages.
We have 28 students here this year, and we live in fairly close quarters, so they actually have to negotiate practically every aspect. It's another prepared environment where they need to learn how to get along with one another.
In the boarding house, the students are able to take on an independent approach to their life in a way that they could never do in a traditional school environment.
They know that the person that they might disagree with is still going to be living with them the next day and the next week and for the rest of this school year. And so it really makes them think how to act responsibly.
I went to boarding school as a high school student, and I know that it gave me a chance to get to know my strengths and challenges in terms of relationships, and also just to know that I can walk out the door, I can take care of myself, I can even do my laundry.
In a sense, the most important learning and development for these students is what happens here at the house. And because of our location here in University Circle, we have many institutions within walking distance. We have a gym and a library. There are a few places where they can go drink coffee or run on the track at Case, or they play soccer or an impromptu frisbee game. So they stay very active, and I think that that's really the beauty of Montessori, is that it takes everything into account.
We have a place-based education. We're in University Circle intentionally. We connect students with experts within the institutions, and it's a very uniquely reciprocal relationship.
The school provides a membership to all of the different institutions, so they can go with their Montessori High School card and utilize the institutions whenever they want.
Oftentimes teachers will have experts come into the classroom, do demonstrations and do lectures in all kinds of fields, everything from science to math to history to cooking, and at the same time we can take our students out, sitting there side by side with college students and listening to guest speakers and authors, and it's just a 5-minute walk away.
All of our juniors and seniors, as of right now, are in the midst of being placed in community internships with experts in the field, and the institutions really benefit from us as well. We had a student who worked at the Western Reserve Historical Society, noticed that they didn't have a children's center, helped write a grant, and built a children's center.
From a scientific perspective, they don't have to just learn about everything from pictures. They can go over to the botanical gardens and actually see some of those biomes. When we talk about ecosystems, and having the ability to go over to the Natural History Museum to line up those bones and actually see evolution in process, it makes it very real to the students, and it's much more memorable too. If you've actually done it yourself and made the discovery yourself, that's something you're going to remember.
So intense. Montessori education widens the learning process, especially for high school students, by giving them choice. Choice in what they study and choice in how they study it.
We have these periods called exterms, and students get into groups that have a common interest and study that intensely and have a say in their own curriculum. One exterm trip the students did was to Mongolia. They went there for 2 weeks in the Gobi Desert, and they worked with real paleontologists doing real research out in the field. Oh, wow! Not only was that a great trip for the students to do from a science point of view, but just the travel, the experience they had, and the camaraderie they formed with each other is something that they'll never forget. Another group of students went to Mexico and built a cistern to help with a local town's water supply, and it really speaks to the Montessori mission of being part of this global community and reaching out to others and doing service beyond their 4 walls in their school.
Montessori is an education for life. We're trying to prepare students to go into the world and really positively contribute to humanity. So our emphasis on piecework is completely consistent with Marie Montessori's philosophy and is one of the most dynamic and exciting parts of the job, because we have students who are really becoming prepared to enter into society and make a difference.
Montessori really does have a different way of approaching things.
It's a really unique support system which goes across grade levels.
I was more directed, whereas now I am the director.
It gave me the environment that I needed to learn, as well as a safe environment to live, and I wouldn't have it any other way.